Hello and welcome to A Piece of String, the show that brings together comedians and scientific minds to ask and maybe answer the biggest of all questions ever. I'm Matthew Shribman, I'm a chemist and some might say a biophysicist, and with me today are Josie Peters, an astrophysicist.
Hello.
Sophie Ward, a biomedic and neuroscience enthusiast.
Hello.
And special guest, Paul Stubley, a laser physicist.
Hello.
Three of us, and three of us only, will ask a question to which one of us secretly knows the answer. And points will be allocated on a tyrant arbitrary basis by our producer, Sam Lee. And the winner will get this yellow piece of paper with a load of questions from a pub quiz on them, which haven't been completed by the winner if they didn't go to the pub quiz.
What? There's so many negatives in that.
Paul, you got a question for us, mate?
I do indeed. Riddle me this.
Okay.
Will we ever be able to live without sleeping?
Ooh.
Can't live if living is without sleep.
This is a really huge thing because
Yes.
sleeping is both beautiful but also like quite inconvenient. I always think that this is like a multi-billion-dollar startup like waiting time. I always think that, and I think that's actually a really profound thought that I've had.
No. This
I don't think anyone's
Just
thinking about it.
you.
No, this annoys me. This
do you think
annoys
I'm ahead
me a
of the
lot.
game?
No, you're not. You're being silly because sleep is so important. Right? People it's so trendy to be like, oh, I just barely sleep, and I've got all this coffee to keep me awake. Sleep. You spend like a third of your life asleep. So like if you're married to someone for 60 years, you've actually only been awake married 40 years, for example.
Or if you sleep out of sync, 20 years.
Exactly.
It's a good lever that you can control to change your marriage exposure.
Yeah.
How much you sleep.
But then you'll never get to the good anniversary presents, will you? You'll be stuck on like paper and
Yeah.
wood for ages.
Wood's a
Classic
terrible
rubbish
animal
presents. Hate receiving books and spoons.
because all those wooden spoons.
What do dolphins do?
Do they ever sleep? I don't know. I've never asked.
Don't they sleep half their brain at a time?
I know that some fish do, but I don't know about dolphins. But they turn off half their brain and half their body.
Oh, yes.
The opposite half.
Yeah.
So that they can continue swimming like on standby mode.
Yeah.
Do four-legged mammals stand up to sleep? Do cows stand up to sleep? I don't know.
They sit down, don't they? Don't they? Do they?
They sit down. Yeah.
I know.
But can they also sleep standing up?
Yeah.
Maybe. Because I know that horses can like lock their joints, can't they? And then I think they can sleep standing up.
I think you told me this, isn't then if they start like dreaming and moving in their dreams, they'll come towards you with like locked legs.
I know that was a joke.
Was it?
Oh, what?
Oh my days. I can never tell with you.
Was that a joke?
No, they do sleep with their legs locked. But then the bit where I told you, if you see a horse like waddling
I just
towards
had
you with
this
straight
image.
legs, that was a joke.
Oh.
So gullible. I hate myself for that.
To be fair, how often do any of us watch sleeping animals except for dogs and cats?
Yeah, how often do we really just kick back and have a good little watch of a sleeping animal? You know?
I've only ever done
I
it.
like
Good old
watching my
days.
little dog sleep when I go home. He like sort of sniffs around, has a little dream. It's
Yeah,
cute.
and they start running.
Yeah.
I've only ever done it in the jungle, the mighty jungle, and it was a lion.
Ryan, is he sleeping tonight?
Yeah, he was.
What's the longest sleep you guys have ever had?
Oh.
That's a great question.
I went through a phase of a couple of months ago, like sleeping like regularly 13-hour nights because I was just so
13?
exhausted. Yeah,
Whoa.
I was just so
I
tired.
slept 13 hours like a couple of days ago.
What?
I was just tired. But I have really irregular sleep, so sometimes I'll sleep like 6 hours and sometimes then I'll just catch up and have a big one, which is really bad for you. Like, in fact, no, I think for mental health, actually, they say that it's less important to get, I mean, obviously you need a good amount of sleep, but the most important thing is sleep regularity.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when you go to
definitely.
bed.
We were talking about like people being overworked and underslept, or saying that it's sort of a macho thing to have little sleep. But I wonder whether if there was a medical way of getting around it, whether that would be less harmful to the body than all of the other stuff they put themselves through to try and force away the sleep currently, like with caffeine and with other enhancement drugs. Whether if we could do it sort of legitimately in inverted commas, whether the body would be able to cope with it if we ever figured it out.
Well, there are some people that like there's like the average is like 8 hours, but there are some people that biologically their body can function totally normally on like 3 hours sleep. Like there are people out there like that. So I wonder
So weird.
if you were to look at them and they're kind of, if it's like a genetic basis of like their kind of, genes that control their rhythms, or if it's how their brain looks or something like that, then maybe if we can tap into their root, we won't be able to live without sleep, I don't think, but we might be able to live on reduced sleep.
I think it'd be like the Industrial Revolution. It'd be one of the huge revolutions that totally transform the world. If suddenly nobody needs to sleep and like all of the productivity would just.
But would you still do it if you didn't need to sleep? Would you still sleep?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what it'd feel like if you could just like have a thing which meant that all your need for sleep just disappeared in a totally healthy, sustainable way. Then you would just do that a lot more.
But
I quite enjoy sleep though.
Yeah,
I think there's
me
a
too.
mental like satisfaction of having a kind of a long break between sort of one day and the next.
Try and describe to someone who'd like an alien who'd never slept and their entire species didn't sleep. Try and describe sleeping.
Yeah, it just seems so weird, doesn't it?
Just like
the thing that we
being
do.
unconscious.
Every day I get unconscious, have psychedelic visions, and then I wake up and describe it, to my friends when I get into work.
You sound like a wizard. I think it's pretty cool.
And the best bit of it is that, and before it happens, I've got to pretend it's happening and lie there and be like, is it?
Yeah.
Sleep.
That is weird. To go to sleep, you have to pretend to be asleep.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want to live without sleep, but could we live without sleep?
Yeah, I think we should get an answer, but I just want to
yeah.
really quickly Josie.
Yeah,
I
go
just
on.
want to say my longest sleep.
Oh yeah.
Didn't get to say it before. I once slept about 26 hours
Straight through.
straight through. And at the end, my mum had to like shake me awake because I went to bed one night and I woke up the next night and she was worried. And that was when she woke me up and she really had to shake me. And she wanted me to eat dinner because she was worried that I would wake up in the middle of the night and want to eat food. But I was so asleep, I could easily have slept until the next morning.
Why were you so tired? Was this as a teen?
Yeah, mate, had an absolute big one with our producer, actually. Just got really tired.
Do you mean the time that we got Campylobacter, Matthew?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't when we got... It wasn't. No, we got this... We did get this disease called Campylobacter, which is a bit like cholera, and it was all Sam's fault.
Hang on, it wasn't my idea to drink from the stream.
Well, it was a lot of people's fault.
Why did you think the 1800s was a good place to go on holiday?
Anyway,
Josie, chuck us
let's
an
have
answer,
the
mate.
science.
Right now, everyone. Here's for the hard-based facts. So I tried to sort of split this up into three, like even smaller questions. The first one, can we? And one thing was that research that's gone on sort of humans throughout the ages is that as our brains have got more complex, we've actually needed more sleep. So as we're starting to, if we think that we're developing even more, then actually we might need even more sleep than we already do because our brains are doing so much more work and they're so much more complicated than they once were. And that's why humans sleep quite a lot as well. But yeah, so Sophie, you touched on how some people can sleep for just a few hours and get by seemingly fine. And this is apparently down to a gene that was discovered in 2009 called HDEC2, which is the one that regulates sleep. Now, if you're someone who hasn't been born with this gene, then you can get by with almost no sleep.
Whoa.
Which is crazy. So if you could find some way to maybe remove that gene, then maybe you wouldn't need the sleep. Although, I mean, I guess you don't know what the side effects of that are. I'm not sure how long these people live or if anything's affected by them, but I'm assuming not if they're looking at it already. There's also like an artificial method that some people have been looking at in Columbia University called TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, where you send electric signals to the brain to help people cope without sleep. But yeah, these are all still like very experimental, and I guess you still don't know what the long-term effects of these are because, as we said, sleep is super important. It clears out toxins in your brain. It helps you adjust with, it helps you relive moments in your day, but without big emotional side effects. So you can learn to cope with things. Helps for your memory, storing memories and learning things. As we all know, if you've not slept very much, you get grumpy and you can't focus, which is pretty rubbish. And it also like physically repairs the rest of your body as well as the things in your brain too. So pretty darn important. And yeah, there was that guy in 1965 who didn't sleep for 11 days, called Randy Gardner, and he was 17 years old, and he did it for a science fair at school. How crazy is that? He conducted his own experiment by not sleeping for 11 days. But when you get to that sort of state of non-sleepingness, your brain like almost forces you to go into sleep to try and get rid of those toxins that build up in your brain throughout the day. And so while he was kind of awake, he was cognitively dysfunctional, as they like to say, by the end. So I'm not sure if we will ever be able to get by without sleep, because it seems there are so many important things. But there are people looking into, as I say, what regulates it and ways of potentially getting around it. But I don't think I'd want to.
Yeah. I hope Randy Gardner got a ribbon for doing that.
No, you don't hope so.
He got third place with commendation.
Did he really?
I don't know. But it'd be a pretty underwhelming prize for such an unbelievable feat.
He set the world record. I think but since then people have got to maybe 10 days, but never 11. So he's still the champion.
Amazing work. Thanks, Josie. This is a guest question from Lily Geidelberg. If you fell at terminal velocity and landed on a gigantic pile of toilet roll, would you survive?
Cheers, Lily.
If you have like the thing of toilet roll just dangling, and you dip it in water, how high will the water get up it? Can it like
say again?
If you're just like dangling a strip of toilet roll down from like a diving board into a swimming pool, how high will the water get up the thing? Will it break first or will it just stop?
Depends how many ply it is, I suppose.
The ply.
I reckon it would break.
You got high quality loo roll.
I reckon it would break.
You can do a bit of breaky break.
Yeah.
I think this is a trick question. I think it's something to do with
The swimming pool would run out of water.
how deep the toilet roll dips into the water or something. I don't know. Would it?
Our brand is 100 million times more absorbent than other high street brands. It can absorb an entire swimming pool in a single leaf. You touch it to your buttocks and it just sucks all the moisture out of your body
Be
immediately.
quite disconcerting to have super absorbent toilet roll.
There's only there are two materials that we can dangle from a satellite, and they would support their own weight, dangled all the way down to the surface of the.
There's only two.
How do you mean support their own weight?
As in, they've got enough tensile strength, so enough strength that they can hold their own weight all the way from space down to ground level.
Okay, is one of them toilet roll?
Yeah, it's my brand of toilet roll. It's also super absorbent.
Super absorbent, super strong.
Al dente spaghetti. It's a single strand.
Is al dente the one that you throw at the wall and it sticks? Or is that when spaghetti's done?
Yeah. So when it still has a little bite to it, it's like al dente is. Because overcooked pasta is a. Ugh.
I actually love overcooked pasta.
Do you?
Anyway, no, it's those two materials.
Can I guess at one?
Yeah.
Is it some sort of spider silk?
It is. One of them is, yeah.
Oh.
Which is?
I don't know.
Golden orb weaver. And the other one is?
Another type of spider silk.
Nope.
Something to do with carbonography.
Someone's hair.
Paul?
Carbon nanotubes.
Wow.
Carbon nanotubes.
Rapunzel's hair. I like that. Did you know?
Wait, Rapunzel's hair. Missed that.
Yeah.
That's also correct. That's the third bonus point.
Wow.
So, if you fell at terminal velocity and landed on a gigantic pile of toilet roll, would you survive?
Oh, you specifically?
Yes, Josie.
I think I'd probably be too excited and not.
You'd be so excited. Why would you be excited?
I'd probably be sort of, I don't know. I'm a bit of a screamer at like roller coasters and stuff like that. I can't go to water parks because I just drink all the water.
After being banned, they just become parks after that.
Because I scream, because I can't help it. It's just my reaction.
If you dangle Josie from a diving board into a pool, how far will the water go? She will enter the pool.
Yeah, I think I'd be sort of like, so what's going on, that I might end up even missing the loo roll and landing somewhere else.
But it depends why you're falling, right? So why are you imagining you're falling in this situation?
Well, maybe someone's pushed me.
Off of what?
Because I don't like jumping off stuff anyway, personally.
This is a real journey discovery.
I don't know, a big boat.
A boat?
Where else could you? A tall ladder, a nice tree.
I imagine out a plane. A nice tree.
Yeah, I guess, out of a tree.
Once you got past the pleasant trees.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyone got a little answer?
I got a bit of an answer.
Oh, yeah.
So people have survived skydives without parachutes. Either the parachutes failed or they've fallen out of an aircraft that's been...
Over snow? Is snow one of them?
Yeah, snow.
I thought that was
quite a lot of it is about to do with snow because it's just a naturally occurring soft material. Other things like, I for some reason in the back of my mind have someone landing on a circus tent. People land in trees through forests, and although they're completely beaten up, they survive because their speed has been slowed slowly enough, so their deceleration has been low enough that their body doesn't get just the immediate impact of the ground. Someone actually was doing investigations into how quickly the human body could accelerate and decelerate. They're in the American Air Force, US Air Force, and it sounds absolutely bleak. They put their own body under so much stress. Usually we think of several... So the unit of acceleration or deceleration is a g, which is just how much normal Earth's gravity is, approximately 10 meters per second.
Yep.
and so this it was thought that the human body could withstand 10, 15 things like this. He put himself up to 35 g, so 35 times the force of gravity. Notes from his paper: he suffered multiple concussions. He lost dental fillings. He broke his wrists. He broke his collarbone. If he was facing backwards, his vision went blurry and white because
where was he under this? In like one of those spinning machines.
He was firing himself. Yeah, he rocket fired himself and then slowed himself down as quickly as possible. So it was before. This was in the 50s or 60s, right?
Yeah.
So this was before
right.
these spinning machines that are now used for astronauts and things like that.
Centrifuge machines, right.
And so his vision went white because the blood in his eyes was forced to the back of his head. When he faced forwards, his vision went red because the blood was forced into his retinas. Bleak. All in the name of science if you're optimistic, defense if you're pessimistic. But he found out that the human body could undergo about 30 Gs of deceleration, so 30 times the acceleration due to gravity. So if a human's falling at terminal velocity, which is, let's have a lightning round.
Terminal velocity of a human?
Of a human in the sort of spread eagle position.
Oh, 220 meters per second. Nah, I think that's
nearing
quite high,
the sound barrier. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to lower that to 102.
Okay.
50.
I got no idea.
I don't know.
89.
Josie's remarkably close. 53 meters per second.
Yeah.
So if you fall out of a plane or jump off something, you reach 53 meters per second in about 10 seconds.
Wow.
You'll fall 450 meters. So most of a skydive is actually you're already at terminal velocity. And at that point, you're perfectly chilled. Doesn't feel like you're falling. You're in complete equilibrium. You can just enjoy yourself. And if you move your body slightly so the terminal velocity shifts, then suddenly you'll feel a force taking you to the new terminal velocity. So we need to get rid of 50 meters per second of speed, or 120 miles an hour of speed.
Yeah.
You can work it out. Essentially, if you're willing to undergo this ridiculous 30 Gs of deceleration, you need about 5 meters. So a pile of toilet roll 5 meters high. All you'd need to cope with is broken collarbone, broken ribs, losing dental fillings, having whiteout and blackouts of the eyes, and then you can get on with your day.
Fair dues. And if it's good toilet roll, it'll absorb all the mess.
And now for the mystery midsection. So before the start of the show, I asked everyone the following question.
You're in a room, just you and a piece of rock. How can you find out if it's a fossilised bone?
I then asked everyone to write down a fictional but reasonable sounding answer. I will now read out all of those answers with the real answer mixed in somewhere. Everyone will then get a chance to decide which answer they think is the correct one. Let's go. Give it a lick. If it sticks to tongue... give it a lick. If it sticks to your tongue, it's a bone.
Tried and tested.
By carbon dating the sample, you can determine the age. Spit on it.
No further details necessary.
Urine is slightly acidic. Lower yourself over the rock, urinate on it, and if it fizzes, it's a carbonate rock. Otherwise, it's probably a fossil. Ask it nicely. A real tough selection. Very legit sounding answers.
Lick
We've
it,
got- we've
spit
got-
on it.
Lick it, we've got pick, lick, roll and flick. No, we've got spit, lick, carbon date, urinate, or ask it nicely. What do we think, everyone?
So wait, what was the other one? It was lower yourself onto the rock, not just like hold the rock under where you might wee.
Yeah, I don't
It's
like
like
that. I
you've
don't
got to
like
lower
that.
yourself.
Yeah, you got to go to the rock. You got to
Instruction.
go to the rock.
How big is the rock?
Lower than waist height, apparently.
Wait, and the other one was carbon date. So
Yeah,
like you've got to just have,
just you and a rock, and then you carbon date it.
and then you've got all your carbon datering machinery in the room also.
Always have it with me.
I didn't specify. I did not specify.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
We're always carrying it, aren't we, Paul?
Yeah.
Paul and I have been carbon dating one another all day.
It's actually really important which of those things you do in the right order.
What do you mean?
Well, you don't want to do the weeing on it one before you do the licking one.
Ah,
So you
yes.
should carbon date it first.
Yep.
Obviously,
Well-
the other ones would interfere with it.
Or,
Maybe you could ask
ask
it nicely.
first.
You can might as well ask
Yeah.
it, then you can save the trouble.
Can I wee on you?
Then you carbon date.
if you've two been carbon dating for a while, are you carbon official yet?
I think it's carbon complicated.
Well, this veritable selection. Anything to discuss? Would you like me to go over them again?
Yes, please.
Lick, spit, urinate, carbon date, ask nicely.
Spit. No, I take it back. Lick.
Oh, I was going to say lick as well.
Well, you can't now because I've said
I think
it.
those
No,
are the
I was
rules.
thinking it before you
Have
did.
we got 2 licks?
Well, because you can lick a salty rock and be like, oh, that's a salty rock. So
Will
maybe
that tell you if it's a bone?
no, but you might
Fossil even.
have a
Fossil bone.
fossilized bone might taste like mushrooms or something. I don't know.
Wasn't the end of the lick one? If it sticks to your
Yeah,
tongue,
give
it's a
it a-
bone.
Give it a lick. Give it
Yeah,
a lick.
I'm going
if
for
it
it.
sticks to your tongue, it's a bone.
Yep, I'm with that.
Yeah, sorry, by shortening these, I've
No, I'd really encourage you to go for it as well.
Okay, I'm not going to do that.
No,
I'm-
Paul, don't fall into his games. Oh, no, I'm not giving you any clues, but all I know is I've been burnt by this before.
I just think that the phrasing of the urination one was very particular, and I don't like it. As such, I'm going to just go for the simple, tried and tested, spit on it.
What did you say? Oh, we got 2 licks. You're licking
2
as well.
licks and a spit.
2 licks and a spit. Lickety spit. Split. Spit. Spit. Lick. Anyway, right. You'll be pleased to know that the correct answer is give it a lick. If it sticks to
Yay!
your tongue, it's a fossilized bone. This is genuinely, I've been welcomed into the strange world of people that actually, like, people who are into fossils that test with this method. Like, yeah, if you lick a fossil and it sticks to your tongue, it's
You'd have to
probably-
be into fossils if you're going to test
I
with that
know,
method.
exactly, that's true. You got to be really into them. So yeah, if you've got a bit of rock, clean it first, preferably, then give it a lick, and if it poke your tongue in it, and if it sticks to your tongue, it's probably a bone. Spit on it. That was mine, Paul. That was mine partly because I forgot I had to write one of these as well. So I was like, oh, crumbs.
Short on time.
I was like, spit on it, mate. Which do we think was Mr. Shribman's out of interest?
Lower yourself.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was. I ain't come out,
I'm
man.
losing my edge.
He is losing
Yeah.
his edge.
Of sussing you out.
Ask nicely.
That was
A
me.
Josie Peters classic, which means carbon dating.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Just you and a rock.
When he sprang to its defense, I thought, I'll come to its defense as well.
I forgot the purpose of the game then. I was like, no, this isn't as stupid as it sounds.
I've got a question. If you were trapped in the middle of a room full of food and you had to eat your way out, what food would you want it to be?
Something low density.
Cream.
Oh, really?
Chocolate potatoes.
Brownies.
Chocolate potato? What's chocolate potato?
It is something I got in a Christmas stocking when I was like 13. And it was the nicest thing I've ever had. The little sack of chocolate potatoes. They also had like hazelnut sort of praline filling.
Ooh.
A praline? I say praline, whatever. And I've never been able to find them since. So if I were to want anything to be in a room, chocolate potatoes. I actually
That's
wasn't.
cool.
A friend got me some for Christmas once. She was able to find them again. But anyway,
They
What
sound
made
great.
them a potato?
they look just like potatoes.
Ah,
Sorry, yeah, it looked just like
Apology
potato.
accepted.
did you make anything else out of them? Did you chip them, mash them, roast them?
No,
No.
I actually ate them really mindfully because I only had a few and they were so nice.
Okay.
They were like white chocolate with like kind of marbling, and then like inside like the white chocolate little crispy hazelnut bits, and then there was like a praline in the middle.
Wow.
And they came in a little sack. There were also chocolate mushrooms that weren't as good.
Yeah.
They were really good. So I vote chocolate potatoes.
I think I would want actual potatoes. I don't think I could ever stop eating chips.
Well, cooked
Chips,
potatoes.
yeah, I was
gonna
I
say,
was
raw
gonna say, it's
potatoes,
dangerous
that's
eating raw
intense.
potato.
Dangerous.
Isn't it? Isn't raw potato a little bit dangerous?
I think it might be.
I imagine you might feel a bit sick.
I think it's a bit poisonous.
Mm. Is it one of the nightshade
Yes.
family?
Yeah, I think it is, Sophie. That's why it's a little bit poisonous.
Oh, okay.
What would be worse to be trapped in a room with out of the following? Beetroot salad and hoisin crispy owl.
I think beetroot salad alone, because apparently beetroot has a libido effect. So if you were alone with a lot of beetroot,
Wait, it increases the libido.
yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
would
that's
just
a dangerous
be.
place to be, isn't it?
Yeah. I was watching Come Dine With Me once, and there was a beetroot farmer on it, and he was like, "Oh, look at all these amazing things that beetroot does." And one of them, he was sort of like cheekily looked at his wife and was like, "Well, yeah." So apparently beetroot.
So that's the
is a
extent
bit-
of your...
No, but he was a
Cite your
beetroot farmer.
sources.
I think I read it somewhere else as well that beetroot is a slight aphrodisiac.
Oh, like oysters,
Okay.
isn't it?
What about crispy owl? Is classic aphrodisiac.
I'm not sure.
It's that head turning ability, isn't it? It's the 360
Yeah.
head that really does it for people.
the 360 head. 360.
I've got to say,
So I'm just trying to
Peking
put the phrase
crispy
360
duck
head.
is so good.
Peking duck is really good.
It's always
really
yeah.
moorish.
You always want more.
Wait, so would your room be full of Peking duck then?
No, that would be insane.
How big is this room?
Regular size.
Like a classic room.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here's a question. Would
Yes.
you rather eat a bowl full of broccoli or a bowl full of raspberries?
Broccoli.
Interesting.
So to me, the answer is so clear. And I cannot believe that people would say the other one.
Is the broccoli cooked or not?
Is that how you would like to eat broccoli? Yeah.
You know that they say that the center of the galaxy tastes like raspberries.
Do they?
They say it.
Oh,
No, like,
well, if they say it.
well, there's a chemical that's quite common in the center of the galaxy, which is one of the main flavor chemicals in raspberry. But actually, it tastes a lot more like rum. So it's just the kind of rum end of raspberry.
That sounds nice.
Instead of raspberry ripples.
So wait, would you
Is that
rather
where
have a bowl
all
of
the space
raspberries?
pirates
Yeah,
go?
obviously.
Well, I say obviously broccoli.
What more than you'd rather have a bowl full of broccoli than a bowl for raspberries?
I love
Would
broccoli.
you too, Matt?
What I think is that I agree with Paul about the space pirates.
Sorry, I got distracted. Paul. Space pirate. Oh, the rum. Oh.
Yeah, thank you. It depends how big the bowl is. Small bowl, raspberries. Big bowl, broccoli. It's all about getting bored. Like
I can eat raspberries forever, mate.
Well, as we all know,
I get it's too sweet for me.
large eating. Adam Rickman?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, surely.
No, Richmond.
I like
Adam
it.
Richmond. Man versus Food.
Okay.
He was halfway through a kitchen sink of ice cream challenge where you had to eat an entire kitchen sink of ice cream. He knew it was going to fill him up, and halfway through, he ordered 2 portions of fries because he needed to change his flavour palette back to salty for a bit to reignite. So I think raspberries would have the same effect. They're so sweet.
I mean, yeah, you're entitled to your opinion.
All right, well, everyone's entitled to the wrong opinion. Well, what about a room full of raspberries or a room full of broccoli?
Raspberries.
Rimbarilla broccoli.
Raspberries.
Easy
If I can have
raspberries.
it cooked with a bit of
They're like
butter
little
on.
jewels. I'd also feel like I was in like an Aladdin's cave with beautiful
actually,
rubies.
Oh, but I'd feel like I was in a
raspberry
forest of
isn't
broccoli.
A berry, but a banana is. That's my least favorite science fact.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, what about texture and endurance?
'Cause I suppose you wouldn't want something too crunchy because then you might hurt your jaw or your teeth.
I was
Or
thinking.
chewy.
Oh, if
Yeah.
you got lockjaw 1 meter into your job,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait,
What are
when
they
we
called?
say-
Gobstoppers. You wouldn't want it. You just wouldn't want it full of
you're
gobstoppers.
licking your way
That
through
would be
it. And you're like,
horrid.
you're
Your
licking for a
tongue
whole
would-
day and you've made about 2 centimeters progress.
Your tongue would disappear. As well, when we say food, could you have like a room made of lasagna?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah, a layered based food.
Yeah.
I was thinking about celery because celery, but then you wouldn't actually get any nutrients, but you would like lose weight from eating the celery. Because isn't it that when you eat celery, you don't gain. Celery's like negative calories. Is that
I
actually
think that's
true?
an urban myth.
Oh, why have I been eating all this celery then?
It's nice and crunchy.
Yeah, okay.
I think something
Smells
like that.
like guinea
Cucumber,
pigs.
maybe. High water content.
No.
You would get full. I always get very full with watery foods though.
Well,
So it'd take you a long time, but you wouldn't. Yeah.
what you could do is spinach, because of, like, even a room full of spinach, if you wilted it, it would just be a tiny amount of
Oh,
spinach
yeah,
that you couldn't
that's
share,
right.
because it doesn't matter how much spinach you cook, it's always too
Wilting.
small.
Genius.
Yeah.
Here's a terrifying one custard. Because if you're in a room full of custard, custard's non-Newtonian fluid, which means that if you put pressure on it, it like goes solid and like quickly put pressure on it. But as soon as you like slow,
You got to slither your way out of custard. Nice.
yeah,
and
because
slow.
if you try to move quickly, the custard around you would just freeze. It's like quicksand. That would be well scary in a room full of custard.
Drowning
would
in
be.
custard sounds terrifying.
Yeah, you got your scuba gear, right? You always carry a scuba gear around when there's a custard lake.
Yeah, but I just know that would be the day that I would forget the scuba gear. Well, Matt, what's your answer? Then I'm really
Come on,
intrigued.
tell us.
I'm really intrigued by this.
the answer is, well, it's kind of an answer.
The
So
best kind of answer.
you want something that you can pass through quite quickly, right? So you can get a lot of
I
turnover.
didn't even think about that.
So
It's gone there already.
So they say that in order to pass food through you quickly, you need to exercise a lot and drink lots of fluids, and fiber is also pretty good too, because obviously that's something you're not going to digest. So it's not going to sit around inside you. You're just going to squeeze it out the other end. But I mean, it is going to take a long time to tunnel your way out with your mouth, because your mouth is pretty small. So take your time over it, enjoy it. And just hopefully it's going to be a good food. The thing is, you've got. That's it. That's my answer. Yeah.
What would you choose?
No, if you've got good food, then it could be right. You just have to be patient.
Is it going over our heads? I'm actually
Yeah,
can
going
fully
over your
picture
head.
it.
Yep. In general, food takes like 24 to 72 hours to move through your digestive system, approximately. So at first it's pretty fast. So you can get like it takes like 6 or 8 hours to get through down your esophagus into your stomach, and then like about half of it exits your small intestine. So, and then it's the end phase where it starts to really slow down. So the final phase can take more than a day. Average time food spends in the final
What, in
phase.
your large intestine?
Large intestine, a little bit in the small intestine, yeah. Average time food spends in the final phase varies by gender. 33 hours in X, 47 hours in X. Fill in the X's.
Oh wait, who does it take longer in?
Yeah.
How would you
I
go
reckon
food?
ladies are more efficient. Men always seem to take like books and stuff to the loo, and I never need that amount of time.
I mean, usually we don't go to the bathroom for the entire digestive period.
Oh, is that not what we're supposed to?
No wonder you have any time.
Where's he
Can't
going?
get enough hours in a day, because I'm literally spending 33 hours a day in the bathroom,
Oh, there's
No, but
the
what
answer.
There you go.
because I'm a man. 33 hours for males, 47 hours for females.
Oh, so
approximately.
it's quicker for you.
Yes, thank you, Josie. Everyday sexism.
Ages.
No, I'm not sexism. I was just saying that usually whenever I see a guy go to the loo, he usually goes for a lot longer than a lady goes.
Well, how dare he?
Or a
Wait,
woman.
What, 47 hours? There's been times when I've eaten something and then,
Okay, well,
Spotted it,
well, we're
let's
getting
just
to that.
say.
We're getting to
Okay,
that.
fine.
So yeah, like meat and fish
Sweet
can
corn
take
travels really
meat and fish can take as long as 2 days to fully digest.
That's because the fish is like, they go against the grain, don't they? Like salmon up a river.
Yeah, the
Because the fish is just desperately clawing back up your esophagus. I
and
was got a little bear in my mouth trying to catch it, Paul. Is that what it works?
anyway, so yeah, fruit and vegetables are high in fiber, so they move through you in less than a day, normally, which is where the sweet corn challenge comes from.
Is it a challenge or just a fact of life?
It's just the thing you do where you only eat sweet corn for like 2 days,
Ugh.
because then all of your excrement just becomes just sweet corn husks, and they just fire out in a big explosion out the other side.
That sounds.
That is grim.
Sweet corn
Horrific.
challenge, try it out. So yeah, a fruity room.
Sweet corn challenge.
A fruity room could be pretty good, because you would be able to process it quite quickly and you could speed your way through. Or maybe it would be good just to have a nice agar jelly. with minimal nutrients. That it's just mostly water, and you can just eat it and squidge it out the back, literally like a worm moving through the ground, eating as you.
This is getting
move.
more and more sinister. This is the plot of a psychological horror.
I didn't know how big the room was. I have to plan for all eventualities.
Oh,
So that's that.
thanks.
And we have arrived at the end. Points have been allocated by our producer, Sam Lee, according to a system that none of us were aware of at the time that it was being deployed. Sam, what's the verdict?
Well, the winner of today's food room-based race, I can reveal. Well, I'll do it in reverse order. Matt and Josie were doomed when they were presented with their rooms full of foul-smelling durian fruit.
Oh, they are awful.
Sophie did remarkably well when confronted with her raw King Edward potatoes-filled room. But Paul absolutely breezed to the finish line with his lounge full of angel delight.
Oh, yes, butterscotch flavour. Yes.
For now, thanks to Josie Peters,
Thank you very much.
Sophie Ward,
Goodbye.
Paul Stubley,
Goodbye.
Matthew Shribman, that's me, our producer Sam Lee, and to Unbound for their generosity in hosting and supporting us. You can follow us on social media by searching A Piece of String or String Podcast.
If you want to see what I'm interested in, biology, psychology, whatever, then feel free to check out my YouTube channel at Soph's Notes or tweet me also at Soph's Notes.
If you'd like to find out any more about astronomy and astrophysics, you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Josie A. Peters.
And if you'd like to learn about many and various scientific curiosities from a man in a bath or otherwise located, you can follow me on social media by searching Science in the Bath or Matthew Shribman.
If you have a quirky question of your own that you'd like a scientific answer for, then please reach out to us on any of our social media channels.
Thanks for listening. Please rate and review us on Spotify, iTunes, etc. It makes a really big difference in spreading the word. And we'll be back again in a fortnight. And as usual, let's never speak of any of this ever again.